Today, I want to talk about Pauline Hanson. Now, we've already demonstrated to you quite a few things in relation to these politicians and how they obfuscate from the truth and don't know the actual constitution inside their own offices. We also saw that Josh, inside Malcolm Roberts' office, quoted from the Constitution, therefore giving credence to knowing something while working for one nation. This puts a roundabout addition on top of what we're going to talk about with Pauline, because it demonstrates that they should know what they're doing. We're going to charge Pauline with some very serious constitutional offences. Now, I'm not going to go into detail on this video because we don't want Pauline to know very specifically what we're going to do. But we do want Pauline to know that we have enough evidence now to prove without a shadow of a doubt that Pauline has breached the Constitution in more than 3 sections. In more than 3 sections of your Constitution has Pauline Hanson actually breached the Constitution itself. So we are putting paperwork together. We don't really need any more to add to this paperwork to have a case against Pauline. Pauline made some of the gravest mistakes she could have done in the past, which add to what she's done today. We can look at how Pauline went to jail at the beginning of this whole scenario, and we can question the situation or circumstances around that at the beginning of One Nation's time in the sun. Well, the sun's about to go down on One Nation for demonstrating very clearly that they're willing to breach the Constitution. We look at Pauline very specifically because the rest of the country believes that this muppet is going to help you. And we can easily demonstrate that she serves foreign interests over and above your own. So if any of you have a complaint about Pauline Hanson or evidence of a criminal offence that you know to be a crime, we are interested in what you have to say, because we may look at what you have put together and add it to our court case. Now, we're going to need funding to go through this on behalf of you, and we will publish everything as we go through it. We will also inform all of the embassies of all of the other countries that exist in Australia that Pauline Hanson has committed criminal offences against our Constitution, as well as international law. We will demonstrate very clearly that One Nation has a modus operandi to put the silver spoon in their mouth and not in the people's. More concrete for Queensland, right, Pauline? More concrete for Queensland, right, Pauline? Pauline has demonstrated where her allegiances lie, and they aren't with all of you, the people. And this is going to be very clearly demonstrated by submitting into the Supreme Court of Queensland, where Pauline Hanson is a Queensland senator. While in that courtroom, we will raise constitutional matters or criminal offences that have been committed by Pauline Hanson, therefore requesting the court to change to a federal jurisdiction to hear matters of a constitutional nature in relation to a senator who did things within the Senate going against the Constitution at which that senator is obligated to operate under. So the harsh reality for all of you is this: you are going to see paperwork submitted to the courts in relation to the criminal offences carried out by Senator Pauline Hanson while operating under Constitution and under oath of fidelity. We will bring the blessing of Almighty God up in relation to jurisdiction, and we will look at certain things that One Nation have taken on as their ideologies that disagree with the Constitution. We will demonstrate very, very clearly the crimes that are occurring and the corruption that is going on inside the Australian government that is technically not the Parliament of the Commonwealth of Australia as defined in the Constitution Act. Now, if we look at the Australian Law Journal, we can see that lawyers were a little bit disturbed that this name change had occurred after administration took place, which means that the Australian government is an administering power of the Parliament of the Commonwealth of Australia. And all these politicians that play politics over and above the law will have to answer to the judicature, which is a separate chapter to the Constitution. It means that these judges have the ability to uphold the Constitution at law, where these politicians have failed to uphold the Constitution under chapters of the House of Representatives and the Senate in the Constitution. When we look at what Pauline Hanson has in fact done, we can then later look at the Federal Executive Council and the executive branches of government that triggered Scott Morrison to do certain things at the beginning of the planned demic. Given that we now know that Fauci is involved through USAID and Wuhan Lab and the purposeful release of a certain virus, then we can look at the rest of this Constitution and the rest of the players in Parliament. So for now, what I would like you to do is think about One Nation's failures to the Constitution and report to us through spiersmedia.com. You can do that for the moment. Just click the mail button up the top and fill out the form, and we will get in touch with you. Please forward whatever you can in relation to criminal offences that have been carried out by Pauline Hanson. 2025 is the year that we make these politicians accountable to all the offences that they've carried out over the last 20 or so years. 2025 is your opportunity to clean up house, to clean up the corruption that goes on inside the federal and the state parliaments. Now, we will continue on the state of Queensland, and we urge you to join in by making phone calls to those ministers in Queensland and questioning them over their actions and gathering evidence of their offences. Eventually, all of this comes together into a trial where we can name many, many names for breaking the law and committing serious, serious criminal offences on you as a people. Thank God it's starting to cool down. So when we look, do not be intimidated by these people, knowing that they're in cahoots with criminal behaviour. Knowing that they're in cahoots with criminal behaviour. If you know of anything that one nation is responsible for that is a crime, it's time for you to inform us.